Good afternoon, and welcome to another edition of Localized Miami. I'm your host, Robert Ruano, and today we're going to talk a little bit about what's going on in Miami-Dade County, and specifically in the village of El Portal. And we have here my good friend, the mayor of El Portal, Mayor Omarr Nickerson.
What's going on? How you doing?
How you doing, Mayor?
Everything good?
Good to see you.
What's going on to the people out there? I just want to say what's up to everybody. And I'm here, and whenever you need me, I'll always be here for you, my brother. All you got to do is call.
Thank you.
So, hey, it's wonderful, and you're doing a great job, and you've already had wonderful guests, so I'm honored just to be here.
Thank you. Well, I have another wonderful guest too.
Oh, I appreciate that.
Well, great. Hey, so it's great to see you here. We haven't actually, I've known you for a long time, but we haven't had a lot of conversations. So I'm going to ask you a couple of, things about you and stuff. But before we do, Rachel, our producer, Rachel over there, can we pull up where El Portal is? Because some people have told me, El Portal, where's El Portal?
Oh, Lord.
It's up on the screen. You can see it up there. You see it up there where
There you go.
If you guys know where the Citadel is in Little Haiti, you keep going and you'll run into the village of El Portal.
That's right.
Beautiful little village.
Let's not forget the annexation that we've annexed over on to Biscayne down to 83rd and a small part of the north side of 82nd.
Nice.
So,
congratulations.
I had to make that my business corridor, which is important, and not my business, but my industrial zone, my industrial corridor, which is important because the residential aspect of El Portal, the residential part of El Portal, I didn't want to put all the noise, all the big buildings there. So we annexed, area on Biscayne. That's our Biscayne corridor.
Nice.
And it's across the river, across the train tracks. And let me tell you the truth. I'll be perfectly honest with you. Many people, as a matter of fact, most residents to this day, to this moment right now as we're speaking, don't even know that's part of El Portal.
Right. Yeah, I guess. Yeah.
And
it's so separated.
It's so separated. Yeah. The residential part of El Portal is so quiet still and so, so
that's great.
Tranquil. That's exactly what I wanted.
Because you can take the taxes from over there and help subsidize those people and nobody complains.
That's it.
About noise.
It's perfect.
That's fantastic.
Perfect.
Good. You've needed that for a long time.
Yeah.
You need a commercial corridor.
Yeah.
And I heard Northeast 2nd Avenue, there's some changes coming up on Northeast 2nd
Avenue. Yeah, there's some changes there. The church, which is on 87th Street and Northeast 2nd Avenue, which is like the prime intersection of El Portal right there. That leads into what will be our downtown, our small downtown area of El Portal. That recently got sold and is going to be developed. So that's wonderful. And that's going to lead to so many things on Northeast 2nd. I mean, because El Portal, when you go through there, it's almost like a death zone on Northeast 2nd. And Northeast 2nd is such a major thoroughway.
Right.
And to the north of us, you have Miami Shores. You have a beautiful downtown in Miami Shores. Right. To the south of us directly is city of Miami, and there's all type of shops and stuff there. And then you just roll through El Portal like a death zone. So it's like life, death, life. So we're bringing life to El Portal, so it's life straight through. So that's
good for you. Wonderful.
Be wonderful.
All right.
Yes.
Well, we got into El Portal, but we don't know too much about you. So you're the mayor. How long have you been the mayor?
That's right. I've been the mayor for 5 years. Vice mayor before that, 8 years. I've been on the council for 15 years.
Wow. So no term limits.
There you go. That's right.
All right.
But that's a lot of people say, speaking of term limits, some people are for them. Some people want them. Just like, nationwide, some people think they're good things in politics. Some people think they don't really matter in politics. But I would say that two things. I would say, first of all, term limits, the people are your term limits. If they don't want you, they're going to vote you out of there. If you're doing a bad job, they're going to vote you out of there. Secondly, I would say that what happens a lot of times is that you'll have people that are there, and if a place does have term limits, the initiative you start, you don't have time to finish it.
Right.
Like, people don't understand in government the process and how slow things move.
Yeah.
And so it was interesting about that, and I'll tell you real quick, we're going to get back to the personal questions, but what's interesting about that is that when you think of just like the history of Miami and how rich the history of Miami and the political and governmental history of Miami is, a lot of times when you like go downtown and you see those names on those buildings of those past mayors of Miami and things like that, the past commissioners and things like those individuals were before term limits. Because remember, the Miami-Dade County Commission just recently got term limits.
Right.
Before that, commissioners were there for such a long time. That's why they were able to do so many things to where now they're like, they're legends in Miami-Dade County politics. Those names that we know from the 80s, from the late 70s, from the early 90s.
Right.
If they had term limits, it wouldn't have been like that. Because they would have been gone so quickly, they wouldn't have time to do anything that was that substantial. So you have to have the time to see your initiatives through to the very end.
All right. I won't give you the counterpoint because I know a lot of people have counterpoints.
I know they do.
You know, there is a lot of pushback against it.
I know they do, but at the end of the day, like I would say, the people are your term limit. People act like because you don't have term limits that they're like, oh, you know what? I would vote him out, but he doesn't have term limits, so hey, I can't. No, you can vote the person out in the election.
And speaking of, were you in your last election? When was that?
My last election was a couple years ago, like last November.
And did you have an opponent?
No.
Oh, there you go. So I guess they want you there.
There you go.
All right. Well,
there you go.
Well, wonderful. You've been there for a while. Tell me what the job is. Well, actually, no. Before we talk about that, I'd like to know a little bit more. Where were you born? I don't even know where you're born or your background.
Really?
I don't know. I know about. You said it's something about the Native Americans. Tell us that.
So I was born here in Miami.
Okay.
You know, so I was born here in Miami. I know a lot of people are trying, but I was born here in Miami. So Miami through and through, 305.
Okay.
So but yeah, my dad's African American, my mom's Native American. Love Miami, you know, went to school here, went to a Native American school for the end of my high school. My mom's side of the family, the Native American side, is from North and South Dakota. They're Lakota Sioux.
Oh, nice.
So so everything's wonderful.
Wow.
Go there on the summertime, get summer education. So
really? Did you speak any of the language?
Yeah, I do.
You do?
Yeah.
Fluent?
Yeah, pretty fluent. Yeah.
Pretty interesting. I didn't know that.
As a matter of fact, when I was young, I was in ESOL classes because English wasn't my first language necessarily.
Impressive.
Yeah.
And something else that I read about you, you studied or worked in Egypt, right?
Oh, so I went to school. So I went to the University of Miami. I graduated high school. I was 15 going on 16. Went to University.
What school? High school?
High school. Oh, so I graduated from the Native American high school.
Oh,
not here. No, not here. Okay. Not here. Went to Southridge. What was that? My 9th grade year. I even went to Braddock, I think, for half a year, but I wanted to graduate from my Native American high school. It was important to me to do that. But yeah, I went to the University of Miami, graduated from there, and then went to University of Cairo in Egypt for my first master's degree.
What year was that?
Jesus Christ, man.
I remember that?
A long time ago. Yeah, that was a long time ago. Yeah, years. I don't remember exactly what year. It was
before 2000?
It was right around that time.
Okay.
Yeah, it was right around that time.
How long were you there?
I was there in Egypt for a year and a half.
Nice.
Yeah, a year and a half. I had to get my master's. So.
And what?
I was there
for
a year. So my master's, it was a double master's. It was in world history and geographical studies.
Impressive.
So, and then I went to Syria, and then University of Damascus in Syria, and then I got my second double master's, and that was in international political science and economic development.
Wow, impressive.
Yeah. And then I got my PhD from the University of Beijing in China.
Wow.
And that was in international relations and national affairs.
And what do you do for your day job when you're not the mayor?
The mayor is my day job.
The mayor is your full-time job now?
That's it. That's all I do. Yeah.
All right. Well, that's all.
The moment I became mayor was my full-time.
Really?
You can't do, you wouldn't be successful without it.
Yeah.
Yeah. And because, El Portal is a small municipality, we don't have this. Like I have no assistants. Manager Lou, the wonderful manager, she has no deputy manager, no assistant manager.
Right.
So her and I get together every day, and we're like, okay, what's in our plate for the day? Okay, you take this, I take this, you take this, I take this, and that's how we have to do it. So.
Yeah. Somebody told me, it's like, oh well, El Portal, what's the population? About 3,000, right?
Mm-hmm.
But the thing is, with small cities, and I work with cities of all sizes, but I think that you still have everything you have to do. You just have to do it with a smaller crew.
Everything that you have.
Everything. You have the police department, you have public works, you have, the building, all that stuff.
Everything.
But you just have less people to do it with, less resources. So it's a difficult. I admire that. And you all are a wonderful little city. I worked with you for a long time. I really like working with you guys.
It's really important, man.
Yeah. So tell me, you were also before you've been running. How many times have you run now? Campaigns?
Oh, multiple times. I mean, like I said, I've been there 15 years.
Yeah. So what are campaigns like and elections like in El Portal? Are they dirty? Or they get nasty?
They get dirty because it's a small. Every time something's small, I guess they get dirty at the large campaigns also.
Sure, probably.
But when it's small, now I'm thinking about it. I was going to say when it's small, I think it's more intimate. But even the larger campaigns, had the same type of misinformation also. So it's the same thing. It's the same thing. 'Cause I was going to say when it's small, it's more intimate. Therefore, the misinformation's quicker to like spread.
I see.
But because it's more intimate, also on the opposite side, you can quickly address any misinformation with your neighbor,
less people,
because it's less people.
Right.
So I guess there's a give and take on that front. When I guess in the national, on the national scene, if misinformation goes back, it's quicker. It's harder to get that out the way.
Well, let me tell you one thing I've noticed, and I'd like your take on this.
Mm-hmm.
So the first and last time I worked on a campaign, like paid, was literally 40 years ago. This year,
Look at
right? I worked on a mayoral campaign for the city of Miami when I was in college, right? First and last time. What I saw then was that campaigns would get dirty, but it was hidden, right? I would be at meetings where they'd say, okay, we're going to do this, and we're going to say this, and we're going to say this, we're going to hit them like this. And they did a couple days later. And then the news came out, and they said, well, you guys did it. Oh, it wasn't us. It was somebody else said that, right? It used to be hidden.
Yeah.
Not anymore.
Yeah.
Like, where I live, there's an incumbent running right now where I live in my city who not only has a campaign, but has a PAC.
Yeah.
Openly. But it used to be that you used to hide where your PAC was.
Yeah, the PAC was always hidden.
Now they don't hide the PAC anymore. The PAC is out there, and the PAC is spreading all negative all the time.
Yeah.
But the campaign is still nice.
Yeah.
But the PAC is, and everybody knows the PAC is associated with this. So, I mean, what do you think? And this leads me to my next one, because you are about to be the president of the Miami-Dade League of Cities, right? Coming up in June.
Absolutely.
Right? Congratulations. That's a great accomplishment. So about that and other things, what are kind of goals and what kinds of things do you want to bring to maybe to other cities, or you with your experience that you think your leadership can help on the League of Cities?
So these are a couple different things. I understand what you're saying.
Yes.
But as far as the way that campaigns are run, as far as how they've changed, I think, and this is some part of a larger discussion that we can have another time. But I think part of that change, for better or worse, is the candidacy and election of President Trump. So I think before him, PACs were still, I think Obama was like the last one where any like PACs where they were doing negative stuff was hidden. Like you didn't, like under the Obama campaign, there was no Obama's putting out negative messages or Obama is a part of anything putting out negative messages. I think that, like I said, for better or worse, and there's better and worse. There's worse in like an overall like macro sense, but there's a better sense for, frankly, for politicians. The Trump, the Trump existence, because Trump has almost lowered the bar so much to where you can say what you want, do what you want, be accused of whatever, this, and that, and the people just don't care.
Right. And people still vote for you. Right.
So before Trump, it was like for example, Obama couldn't have done a 100th of what Trump did or said, because if he would have, it would have been a controversy that would have lasted for 3 weeks on the news cycle.
Right.
But now Trump says so much stuff that you can't even keep up.
That's true.
So it's almost like you become numb to it. And this is actually, and I don't know if Trump does it for this particular purpose, but it's actually a strategy because of all my degrees and my doctorate and all this stuff. Like they teach you in school, whereas you hit people with so many like crazy or negative things so much that it's to the point now that if Trump were to say anything remotely nice, it's like, well, look, he's not a terrible person.
Interesting.
Because he's in tuned you so much psychologically to where you expect like him coming back with negativity, or being dismissive, or being rude to somebody, or saying or attacking somebody personally.
Right.
That if he was to ever just come out and say something that was like nice and above the brow, you'd be like, oh, look at him. He's
interesting.
And so that's a political strategy that, you either take the side that Obama took the opposite position, where it's like, he's always nice, always respectful. Even his opponents who diss him, even when Fox News was saying stuff about him, he never comes back disrespectfully. He always comes back distinguished and things like that. But if Obama said one thing negative, you'd be like, oh,
interesting.
Like, that's terrible. Did you hear what he said?
Yeah.
Those are the two ways. Politics is crazy, man.
It is crazy now, and I'll tell you. You said about the personal and the personal attacks. I've seen it not just on, and it's the crazy thing. It's ridiculous because it's not just on the candidate, but if you defend the candidate, then you get personally attacked too, just for defending the candidate.
Yeah.
You know, and it's like, and then you've got relationships of years that are strained at election time and stuff. It's like, it's really crazy. And I'm talking more about local because, you know, while I understand the Trump effect, and it has, and you see some people that are now freer to say certain things and that kind of thing, and you see it on social media, that type of thing, but to a certain degree, you know, it has to trickle down. I think the most important to me, and that's why I kind of started this podcast, is because the local is the one that touches you the most.
Absolutely.
Right? Yeah. So I think that, as you said, we're closer. So it's almost like that level of decorum and that civility is almost more important, because when you're nationally, you know, talking about somebody on the news and whatever, you're far away from them.
Absolutely.
Here, we're right down the road. We're right in the same city.
Yeah.
So it's just it's kind of sad because I'll tell you what it is, and I think you're probably the same way. Is, you know, if you let the negative, you know, get to you, and then you start being negative, that negative eats you up inside.
Absolutely.
Right?
100%. Yeah, I've never done anything negative. I'm never negative about anybody. I just kind of, you know, my thing is always like black and white. It's like, what are my goals? How do we get here? So even when people talk about negative stuff, rumors, things like that, I don't really even address it. You know, I might mention it a teeny bit, but it's like, do I have the votes to get this passed? Yes. Okay, I really don't care what they're saying then. Like, what's the resolution? Do I have a motion? Do I have a second? Roll call, please.
Right.
Like, because it doesn't matter. And a lot of times, even with other people I work with, they'll be like, oh my God, they're saying this, they're doing this, they're saying that. I'm like, do we have the votes?
Yeah.
Then pass it.
Yeah.
That's all that matters. They can say whatever they want to say.
Right.
Do we got the votes? Pass it. That's it. So, and you know, I'm happy to say that, knock on wood, I'm happy to say that, you know, in my entire mayoral, you know, experience, myself and Manager Lou, we haven't taken one loss yet on anything. Not one resolution we want has failed. Not one ordinance we want has failed. Not one budget item we want has failed. So
congrats.
You know, so that just shows that, you know, we have our ear to the ground and we're always doing the best thing for the community.
Let's talk about Manager Alou for a second. Oh, isn't she wonderful?
Oh my Lord. Manager Alou.
She's going to see this. She's looking for this right now.
Manager, let me tell you guys.
Christia Alou.
Manager Christia Alou, Esquire. Is one of a kind. Used to be a lobbyist on Capitol Hill, Washington, D.C. Yeah. Wonderful individual. I'm going to say this really, really slightly because she gets embarrassed. She gets embarrassed. You know, she's a private person, but comes from a very, very, very famous baseball family.
Alou.
The Alous, yes, absolutely. But she's wonderful. And let me tell you, she's like my partner in everything, like progressive and moving forward, and my partner in everything that's like achievement, and my partner in success, and my partner in championships and everything. So good. Manager Lou, she's like, she's definitely.
Yeah, I remember she got there like a month before Hurricane Irma, right?
Yeah.
She had to deal with Irma right away.
Right away. Yeah, a lot of stuff.
She's done great.
Yeah, she's wonderful. She's wonderful. And you know, with me being the incoming president of the Miami-Dade County League of Cities, she's the incoming president of the Managers Association of Miami-Dade County. Fantastic. It's the first time in Miami-Dade County history where the mayor and the manager both are going to be presidents at the same exact time.
Wow. When does she get installed?
She gets installed like the same month I do.
Oh,
yeah, a little bit later. Yeah.
Oh, fantastic.
Yeah,
that's great. Yeah. So you've got a lock on the cities.
There you go.
So tell me about the League of Cities and tell me what you want to accomplish. I guess you've been going there for a while.
Oh, right? a long time. Yeah, League of Cities is wonderful. I think you know,
what is it? Well, a lot of people don't know.
The League of Cities, for you all that don't know, the League of Cities is the premier political organization that brings and unifies all the cities of Miami-Dade County.
All right.
The premier one. As a matter of fact, I would go so far to say that the League of Cities in the state of Florida is one of the top political organizations as far as organization-wise, as far as keeping everything up to par. Because you'll have so many other organizations that are around, but like, you know, they're not as organized. They come up, it falls apart, the records aren't kept, things. The League of City is A1.
What do they do?
As far as a professional.
What do they do?
We come, and whatever cities need, we back them up and we come together and we validate, anything that the cities want, and we fight for them for the needs of all the cities and all the different.
Can you give us an example?
Absolutely. Recently, there was a couple of things. There were some ordinances that were in the Miami-Dade County Commission, and where they're trying to put a moratorium, which they're going to put a moratorium on annexations. And we had some of the cities that were have been going through the annexation process.
Mm-hmm.
So we're coming together to fight for them. We also have shout out to Ray Garcia in Miami Lakes. Over there's these things going on to where they're doing explosions in like the land areas of Miami Lakes, and he's kind of come and introduced that to us, and we're going to be, especially when I become president, we're going to be addressing that a lot more. So it's whatever any city's going
explosions, like the dynamiting for the mining and stuff.
Wow. Whatever anybody's going through, any municipality, whatever you're going through, you come to us and we help you out, whether we're going to be, helping you out on the Miami-Dade County, the county level, or we'll help you with the lobbying efforts also at the state of Florida, at the state capitol.
All right. And who's the president now?
The president now is President Cunningham, my homegirl, President Cunningham, my sister out of Palmetto Bay, and she's wonderful. We have a wonderful executive board. So shout out to the entire executive board.
Who's the executive board? I'm curious.
Shout out to President Cunningham, who's our president. I'm the first vice president, next in line. Right next to me is the most wonderful individual, and that is Fortuna Smuckler.
I don't know.
Former vice mayor. She's a commissioner of North Miami Beach.
Okay, I don't know.
She's amazing, wonderful, one of the most highly respected individuals, great personality. We have her. We have the one and only Joe Cordino.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? Joe Cordino from Pinecrest, the one and only. Love Joe. That's what's up. And we have from Florida City, we have Commissioner Thompson.
Okay.
So yeah, we have a wonderful board, and it's going to be amazing. And when I take over as president, what I'm looking to do is I'm looking to really even like ramp up like what we do for the cities, because one thing that Miami-Dade County cities isn't, and one thing that I'll never let it become as long as I'm around, is just like a fluff organization.
Okay.
To where we just meet, we get together, we have dinner, and we just pat each other on the back, and we never really like help out the cities with the stuff they need to be helped out.
Okay.
So that's the thing that, that I think really separates Miami-Dade County League of Cities, is that if you need help, like we come together and we'll back.
Yeah. No, I've been to many of them. I haven't been since last year when I started.
You're gonna start coming though.
I am. I've got to become a member. Yeah. But
and you have to come on June 7th. The first Saturday in June is my installation gala at the Lowe's Coral Gables.
Okay, fantastic.
Coral Gables, June 7th.
All right.
So come that evening at the Lowe's Coral Gables, and it's going to be a wonderful event. I'm putting it all together. My personality is going to be coming through, so it's going to be very, very entertaining.
Interesting. I'm sure it will be entertaining.
Yeah, it's going to be great.
Wow.
Shout out to Executive Director Cooper, his wife, Rosie Cooper, Richard Cooper, Executive Director, his wife, Rosie Cooper, and Madivis, who's a senior executive assistant.
Yeah.
And they're all wonderful, and they're helping me out, so I appreciate it.
So tell me, I mean, you're the mayor of El Portal, but you're obviously very much involved throughout the county. Everybody knows you. The Mayor Levine Cava, who I had several months ago.
She's wonderful.
Highly of you.
Wonderful.
Loves you.
She's amazing. One of the best things that ever happened to Miami-Dade County was the election and re-election of Mayor Daniela Levine Cava. Absolutely.
Yeah, she is a wonderful lady.
She's a wonderful individual.
Yeah. So what other things are you involved in? I mean, I know you get around, so you've been involved in a lot of stuff. So what other stuff do you do?
Well, we're not going to take out too much time, but I'm on like 4 or 5 different Chamber of Commerces.
Really?
I'm on all time on Amateur Marketing Council. I'm up there. I do things over, and I also have an initiative called the Connecting the Counties North, South, East, West Initiative. So I go to the meetings of other individuals. So other municipalities, I go to their meetings. I go to their events, just like I live in their cities. So and so I get around. So I do that also. And
how does that help you? I mean, how does that?
It helps. It helps to the first extent. You would not like people would not understand. People would be so surprised that Miami-Dade County, with being one county, if you go to certain pockets of Miami-Dade County, the ideology is different, the political views are different, the culture is different, the music is different. It's like you're in another state,
Mm-hmm.
and we're in the same county. From Northeast to the Southwest,
Right.
you'd be surprised.
Yeah.
So I go everywhere, to their monthly meetings, to their events throughout the city, throughout their cities. I go to them.
What does that do for you? What does that?
And so, so what that does is it really opens your eyes to the diversity of our county, and it lets you know, as an elected official, the different needs that are needed throughout our entire county to cover everyone throughout our county.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So you can't just fight for this because you only stay in this section of Miami-Dade County where everybody thinks a certain way, and everybody looks a certain way, and everybody believes a certain thing. You can't just fight for that because that's not the county as a whole.
Right.
So you have to get out there and really get into it. It's not just going to a networking event and meeting an elected official from that county and having a 30-minute conversation. Once you start to go to the meetings and you hear in this city what these residents are going through, what they're asking for, what they're thinking about, what they need is totally different from over here, then you're like, then it really starts to kind of hit you. And you're like, oh, okay, well, it's different here.
How does it influence the work that you do in El Portal, for example?
It influences the work that I do in El Portal because I can look at, okay, where El Portal is, but because I get around to everywhere and all these different places, I'm like, okay, El Portal is this, and we need this, but I can't forget my brothers and sisters over here in Doral or West Miami or Medley or Hialeah. And so when I'm fighting for what El Portal needs, I can also fight for what they need also, even though I'm fighting for what El Portal needs. Like, I don't ever want to do anything to where I'm fighting for what El Portal needs, but I'm fighting for El Portal needs to the detriment of another municipality in Miami-Dade County.
Yeah, I agree.
So you kind of keep all that in mind.
I agree.
Fight for what El Portal needs, but also keeping in mind what they need at the same time.
I agree.
And you learn, it's almost like best practices.
Yeah.
You learn from other individuals.
Yeah.
You learn from other municipalities, like what they need, other cities, other villages.
That's a great point. We've had a lot of situations, a lot of issues still getting resolved right now, some in the courts in the county, where neighbors don't want something, but it really makes sense for everybody, but the people in the area don't want it.
Yeah.
You know, if we had more time, we're almost out of time, but I wanted to, well, let me ask you this. So here's something that affects everybody, but doesn't affect me directly. And I sit, I don't know if you know, but I sit on the Citizens Independent Transportation.
Okay.
Right.
Okay. Yes.
What's come up lately, the TPO is coming up with the Kendall Parkway, the 836 extension thing.
Okay. Okay.
How do you feel about that? And I ask you more as like incoming president of Miami-Dade League of Cities.
Tell me how you feel, Robert. No, so
I think I just told you.
So I think that, so when it comes to transportation as a whole, I think that transportation as a whole is needed in Miami-Dade County. Miami-Dade County, we have so many cars on the road. Traffic is backed up in a major way. And so when you're talking about, especially when you're talking about that kind of area of the 836, that Kendall, that kind of going southwest type of area, it's so much traffic. It's so insane.
Yeah, and my point is, look, it's $1 billion. We put $1 billion into transit. Getting people out there it would be a lot better than $1 billion for a new highway.
Yeah.
But, hey,
yes.
Now I'll get off my soapbox with you. Listen, we're almost out of time. I appreciate it. I'm going to start a new tradition, I think.
What's that?
I'm going to give gifts to my guests, and I have a gift for you, but the gift has to be something.
Am I the first of this tradition?
You're the first.
This is see what I'm saying? You see why we have to support Community News Network and Mr. Ruano. You see how we can support Community News Network?
But every gift is going to be special to the individual.
To the person. Okay.
Something that they need.
This is wonderful.
Here you go. What is this for you? Mr. Mayor Omarr Nickerson.
If you all can't see, it has my name on it. It has
right
Mayor Omarr Nickerson on his right here. It says it. Okay, so why am I getting this? You explain to me the significance of this.
I was at your State of the City.
Yes.
The one where you almost burned down your village hall. I wish we had a video, the fire dancers, and I heard you're going to come up with this is yours, come up with the fire dancers again at League of Cities. So just in case, I think you should take it with you.
Well, I appreciate this. I might have to sneak them in because see the Lowe's Coral Gables, they're kind of high. They're kind of
At least they have higher ceilings at Village Hall.
Up there a little bit, so I got to sneak them in. The Lowe's Coral Gables they haven't cleared me yet, so you have to sneak them in. But I appreciate this, and yes, you did hear him correctly. I had fire dancers at my State of the Village. So I just want to end on this. What other mayor has fire dancers at the State of the Village? Come to El Portal. It's nothing like El Portal, you guys. Nothing like El Portal.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't beat that. Thank you very much, Mayor Nickerson. Appreciate your time. It's a great time.
Very much.
Till next time.
Thank
you for joining us today on Localized Miami. Till next time.
Take care, everybody.